That's all, guys.
Well, yeah.
Sounds like we're getting married. Anybody object to this?
Yeah, right. There you go. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Right. Okay, guys. So, all right. And then, so type in any questions you have in the chat box if you need to, and then we'll open it back up to everyone at the end, and then we can just have a free-flowing conversation, okay? But we do have some things that I'm going to sort of ask Priya and interview, and then, how are you going to, your other team members can unmute themselves if they want to jump in and speak as well, right? So members of Priya's team that help make this happen. So, of course, we're here to congratulate Priya and her team for achieving the Bridge to Gold qualification, which is 22,500 OGV, halfway between silver and gold.
Yay!
I know it's pretty cool. That deserves that for sure to everyone who was on.
Can we all do a toast to Priya?
Well,
Everybody
yes.
grab your
Absolutely.
friend. I'd like to put a toast out there to Priya.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
that's awesome.
You deserve every minute of it.
Penny.
My high is soar like an eagle.
Oh,
Penny.
You know.
Well, thanks, Penny.
Thank you. That is the sweetest thing. That is so sweet of you. All right. So I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
So, and then you can answer. Okay. So tell us what is Bridge to Gold all about, and why is it important? What are the criteria? Why are they important? What's Bridge to Gold all about?
So the Bridge to Gold is you kind of mentioned it. It represents the halfway mark between silver and gold.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just the OGV of 22,500. You have to have 2 additional legs beyond your silver legs at 1,000 PV in addition to that 22,500.
And why is that important?
Because it sets you up for the bigger ranks. And that's all of the path to silver stuff, which this applies. The stuff I'm saying applies for all of that. It really sets you up to move forward. Because one thing that I think that is a problem that we've experienced, I know I've experienced this, actually I did, when I went silver, it was really great, but then it was like I didn't have any other legs I was really working, so then it's taken a lot longer to get to gold because I had to kind of start from ground zero with those third legs.
Right.
So you don't want that to happen. You want to be able to move more smoothly.
So structure is very important.
Yeah.
And then if you don't know how to structure your business, of course, Bridge to Gold does give you that. But if you're at different levels and working your way up to silver or whatever, where do you get your advice, or how do you learn how to structure it? Who do you go to?
Well, you want to go to your upline silver, but I will also say that personally, a lot of structuring things that we've learned by doing it wrong. So go to your silver because they probably have sometimes done some things wrong in structuring that they wish they could have redone. And so cool. You want to avoid those mistakes if you can, but ultimately you can't avoid everything.
No, of course. I mean, we learn from our mistakes. Somebody once told me, keep making new mistakes. I thought that was a great adage for life, keep making new mistakes.
Right.
Not the same ones over and over. Anyway, that's great. Thank you. So you won, in addition to the commission and all the other stuff, the structure and everything, you also won an Aroma Complete kit, right?
Yes.
And what's in that kit?
150 oils.
Worth about $3,000?
Retail, yeah.
Retail $3,000? Yeah. And this is the second kit you won?
Yes.
And I'm so jealous because we never won even one.
My mom would be so salty.
Oh, she would be. Because she never won the silver and 6. Pat has a question.
No, it's good. They were just talking.
Good. Okay, cool. All right. So now this all happened in the course of a week, right? Because I remember that weekend before you were talking to me about it, like, hey, I wonder if I should do this. It's a big gap. Should I do it? So what really made you decide to go for it?
So this happened on like the 25th. It was during the day, April 25th. And I was looking at my group, and that's one key takeaway is like, I was very like watchful of it. And I noticed that I had the qualification in terms of structure this month for that. And I saw the OGV gap was about 3,500. That was considering if every ER order was going to process the way that it should have still processed, which, sometimes even that is a little bit finicky. So when I saw that, I was definitely a little bit intimidated. Mm-hmm. What was your question again? What made you decide to run?
What made you decide?
Well, I mean,
that thought process that you went through to decide, is it too big of a gap?
Mm.
Is it, can I do it? Should I go for it? Because I know you were
yeah,
talking
we
to me
talked
about,
about
we talked
it
about it.
a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was a big gap. $3,500 is
Yeah.
a lot. But at the same time, I knew it was like not completely out of reach. You know, it wasn't like impossible, I didn't think. And I prayed about it a lot, and I was like, is this something that I should run for? Is this not? And at the end of the day, after we talked for a little while about it, I was like, you know, it's like the pro and con. Like, if I don't do it, if I don't run for it, then it's just going to stay the same. Nothing's going to happen. But if I do go for it, even if I were to not make it, it would be exciting.
There would be growth. There'd be excitement.
But I was afraid, though. I was afraid of like stepping out and failing and letting people down and saying to everyone, hey, let's do this, let's run for it, and getting them all hyped up, and then it not happening. So that was a fear that I had.
And one of the things, and you said you prayed about it, so that helped, right?
Oh, yeah. That was very key.
Yeah. And I think, you know, I remember we talked about the fact that even if, like you said, even if you didn't make it, and we didn't really dwell on the what if we don't, because we didn't focus on the negative possibility. We said we're going to make it. You know, that's what we focused on the positive. But this reality is you may not. And then we said, okay, well, what's the downside, right? Okay, so even if for some reason you don't hit it, you still have, you know, you'll still grow. There'll be growth, and you will have created excitement within the team that, you know, kind of a common cause to rally around, right? I think that's one of the things we talked about, right?
Yes. And well, another thing I did is when I saw that number, this is something that we should always be doing for our goals. You have the really big goals, but I broke them down into baby steps. So I looked at all of my core people, so to speak, or people that I'm working closely with or have expressed interest in sharing that I'm close to, and I made a list of them, and there were about 9 or so. And I said, if each one of these people were able, like we were all able to come together and each of us sort of bring in like 300 to 400 PV in addition this month, we would hit that goal. And so when I looked at it that way, it made it a whole different picture. I was like, wait, just one person, each of us just bringing in that much, you know, PV. Like, I mean, yeah, that's still a lot in the last 5 days of the month, but like that makes it so much more doable.
Right. I remember we talked about that too. Yep. Now, how did you, so once you decided, and by the way, I know you're going to show you're going to wave your sheet in front of the team.
I will,
at some point to show you all the kind of just how you wrote everything down and all the stuff you did. But so once you decided to go for it, what did you do next? I mean, how did you approach your team? What did you tell them? How did they react? Just walk us through that.
Well, I needed to share it with them, obviously. And in the past, you know, it's easy to just like go the easy way out and say, oh, I'm going to just send out a group text message and like try to make it sound really exciting, get people fired up that way. But I'm so glad that I didn't do that because it does not have the same effect. I went through and I called, and like the people on this call that are part of that group, they were like, yeah, you called. I called each one of them, 9 or so people on Saturday. And I think I was on the phone for like a total of like 2 hours or something, just sharing with them how close we were, sharing with them like the vision and what it would mean if we reached it. And also like, okay, that's what this would look like. Like, do you want to buy into this? We would need each person to bring in 300 to 400 PV. Like, do you want to like run for it with me? Are you in? And every single one of them was like, yeah, I'm in. And so they all got super pumped up because of that. And so then I created a group text after that. And I had a couple group texts going on actually, and I would like post in those group texts to like get people fired up, and people, I'd have them share what they were doing. Like if they had someone they were talking to that was on the fence and they signed up, or whenever they got someone that, you know, whenever there was anything positive that was happening, like I had them share it in the group text. And so everyone was kind of like feeding off of each other.
And did you, so when you shared this with them, did you actually say, I'm going for this, or words to the effect that, hey, this is a goal that I'm shooting for, and I need your help? Or did you actually ask for that kind of, did you ask for
Yeah,
help?
it was
And how
like
did that-
asking for help.
How did that feel?
Um,
I mean, because it's something that most of us are probably a little uncomfortable with.
Yeah, it is
So how did that
uncomfortable.
feel?
It was a little uncomfortable. Some people more so than others, just because you have different relationships with different people. But I kind of was like, I just need to ask them for help, and I kind of got over it. And I was like, if they don't want to do it, they won't. But I didn't believe that they wouldn't. I believed everyone was going to be on board, and I think that's a big part of it too.
Mhm.
I believed that
Mhm.
everyone was going to want to be on board for it.
Mhm.
So having that mentality going into it, being like, hey, this is what we're running for. Like, it would mean a lot if you were on board with me. What do you think?
And I'd be interested, when we get to the point when we unmute everyone and, we have an open
Yeah.
forum, I'd really love to hear from the members on Priya's team who received these calls and who were part of this. And when she asked you for help, I'd be interested to know how you felt about it. And just from your perspective, what were your thoughts when this was going on? So I'd love to hear that. Now, sorry, did somebody say?
No, it was just a cough.
Bless you. It's interesting when you talked about calling up people and then talk to them and then asking for help and so on and asking that they're on board.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, it would be pretty awkward if you hadn't spoken to somebody for a while or you didn't have that relationship with them to then just call up and say, hey, I need your help. That would come across very differently. So tell us about what you've done and what are some of the things you've done to build the relationship to where you could actually approach people and ask for help because it was a process that occurred over many months or even years. So can you share that?
Yeah. So my mom used to always say, always look for ways to serve your team. And when you do that, they will always stand behind you. And so just throughout my whole Young Living career, whatever, I have always tried to find ways to do that. So as just a habit of looking for ways to really focus on building the relationships with people. So I try to do one-on-one calls with people. I make graphics for them. I'm willing to send them scripts of things. I feel like sometimes I'll even call customer service for them if they need me to. Things like that, that build up the relationship, knowing people then know that you genuinely care for them and you want to help them and you help them succeed, and it builds trust. So it's not like I hadn't talked to these people in months and then I was suddenly hey, let's do this. It was it's a building of a relationship over many
years in some cases.
In many cases.
Yeah. Some of these people have been with you from the beginning. Yeah. That's awesome. So how did you incentivize the team? What did you offer in terms of incentives? How did you think through that process? Did you calculate every dollar and say, okay, I can only, did you bring it down to that scientific of a level? Or how did you figure out how much can I spend? How much can I afford in incentives? What do these incentives look like? What's going to be relevant and meaningful for the people that are involved? How did you do that?
Yeah, so I had to think about, you have to kind of think of your budget, how much you're willing to spend for incentives. But in this situation, I was willing to spend more because I wanted to really put everything I could into it and invest back into my business.
Nice.
So, we did a $25 credit to anyone who got started with a premium starter kit, or a $25 credit to anyone who ordered 100 PV on quick order, or a $35 credit to anyone who ordered 200 PV on quick order. They weren't, those two weren't cumulative, so it was one or the other. But that way I figured I was targeting new members to help get new people on board. And I was also targeting current members, maybe that hadn't ordered in a while or would be wanting to do something beyond their ER order. So I was thinking about the different groups that I wanted to target to increase OGV. I wanted to hit as many of those as possible because I knew that we needed a lot. And then I also wanted to think of ways that I could help my team members enroll people and make it so easy for them to share. So some of you guys saw that Mother's Day gift guide that we made. I made that one of the evening after we started all this. And I sent it out to them because I was like, hey, Mother's Day is coming up. get this out now, because if you have people that, want to add to a quick order to you, like that can help you reach those 100 PV brackets. That's going to add PV. If you have 5 people ordering a $20 object from the gift guide, that's like 100 PV, right? And you post it on Facebook and 5 people are like, I want some tea or whatever, a tea set. So I kind of thought in that respect, like that's one way I could get volume growth. And also I also sent that out to people whose ER order hadn't yet processed. Because even though they didn't qualify for the, quick order, 100 PV, unless they did an additional quick order, I knew that if their order hadn't processed yet, they might see something in the gift guide and want to add it to their order and bump it up to help increase and maybe hit the other promo brackets from Young Living. So I reached out very quickly to all the people whose orders had not yet processed and sent them the gift guide so they would have it before their order processed. I also reached out to all those about to go inactive and shared the gift guide with them. And I said about the promo, the $25 promo. So I really targeted specific groups of people and encouraged the people that in the group text and in my team too, like, hey, these are the people we want to be targeting, because that's just how we're gonna. So
you kind of give them some guidance.
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember you were so tired when you were working, so because you'd be up in your room doing this stuff like all day.
It was on my computer all day.
Yeah, and then she'd be like, "Oh my goodness, I'm exhausted," But it was worth it, I think.
Yeah.
You want to show them that list?
This is my.
She's like, I'm going to wave this in front of her.
My paper. I have all of these scribbles.
Yeah.
It's quite messy now.
And then you want to show your tracker thing?
I also was tracking it.
Yeah, she was tracking it every day. So. Yeah.
So, because what you track is what grows.
What gets measured gets done.
Gets done.
Yeah. So that's that. Now, and you were. So
can I say one more thing?
Of course, you said.
Just to give people like an idea, I think personally, I probably sent out about 70 to 100 text messages or messages of some sort, whether it was Facebook message or Instagram or whatever. Just engaging with people, not newly, but like people on ER or whatever. To communicate these promos to them. I think that's huge because the promos were there, but if they're not communicated, no one's going to take advantage of them. And that was one thing that I've experienced in the past. So not only getting shareable graphics out to the team, but like, texting them to people, just really, really being intentional about communicating,
following up. Yeah.
Yes. And looking at like the money missers, people that had volume under them, but hadn't placed an order and were missing commission. Yeah. Those are people that I reached out to. And I was like, hey, you could get paid a commission check if you order 100 PV this month. And by the way, if you order 100 PV, you'll get a $25 product credit. So
and some of them were very close and didn't realize it.
And yeah.
So that's awesome.
That was another thing.
So you didn't actually, you did look at how much you could afford, generally speaking. I know we talked about it to some degree, but you didn't it wasn't like I've got to figure this out to the last dollar. I mean, at some point it's like, okay, I know roughly what I can spend, but ultimately at the end of the day, I'm going for a big goal. So I'm willing to maybe not worry so much about nickel and diming myself with every penny, but I'm going for the big goal.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever it takes kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it worked.
And it worked, right. And thanks to the amazing people on this call and so many who couldn't join tonight. But so how did you, so you talked about how you kept the team motivated and with your communication and how you did all that. So as you were going through this, I know, initially as the PV started to grow and so on, it wasn't obviously, it took some time, Did you feel doubt at any point? And if you did, how did you handle it? Or was it always like, oh yeah, this is always going to happen? I mean, how did you feel about it as you were going through the process? And then how did you deal with that?
Well, there was definitely doubt at some point, but I tried not to dwell on it. I mean, I was amazed the first day. I think we were down like 700 PV in one day. And that was amazing to me. I was like, whoa. But then I was still like, well, there's still like over 2,000 left in like 4 days. Like that's still a lot, like 2,800 or something. And like I said, that was considering all the orders processed. So, but yeah, I mean, I tried not to focus on it. I tried to just keep the energy really high and just keep reaching out to people, keep responding. I really tried not to focus on how much more was left, but how much we had already accomplished, because that was exciting. I mean, even if we hadn't reached the goal, the fact that we closed those numbers in like that amount of time, regardless, was already really exciting. So,
and I do remember you were so focused. Like,
yes.
That's all you ate, slept, and breathed was this. Now, you took vacation from your job to do this, right?
No.
Oh, you mean you did this while working a full-time job?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
Yes. For those of you that don't know, I do work during the day at Henry Ford Health System, but I'm working remotely right now. So.
But you're still working.
But I'm working full-time.
Yeah. Because I know the door's often locked like, Dad, don't bother me. I'm working. So, okay.
I'm on the phone.
I got to be very careful when I knock on the door or make any noise. Because I also work in the room next door. So, yeah. Anyway, so, okay. So I'm just looking at my list of questions here. Now, if there are people on here at different levels. Some are growing at different stages in their business. And obviously, what you're talking about, you're talking about bridge to goal, but hopefully the lessons that you're sharing or the learnings that you're sharing apply regardless. I mean, you said this earlier too, right? Regardless of where you are in the business, even if you're just starting today or if you're trying to go for silver or gold or whatever, right? Or any other rank. So what would you say to somebody who's considering going for something like this that may look a bit daunting at first, but what advice do you have to them, if any,
Well, I would say go for it. You have really nothing to lose and everything to gain. I mean, something to lose and maybe your ego gets hurt a little bit, but that's just part of the growth process. My initial goal for Bridge to Gold, I actually had it written out here, was by September 30th, I wanted to have 25,000 OGV. And I actually have this written right here by September 30th. And this I wrote like maybe a month or two ago.
Wait, you wrote a goal?
Yes.
And you put a time on it?
I did.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
But here it is. This is April that we did it.
So you beat your goal. Well, except you didn't get to 25, but you achieved the
But I had set the 25,000 goal because I wanted to be above the Bridge to Goal qualifications by September. But all that to say, I had written it down, and I think that's a huge thing. So writing your goals down, and even if they seem daunting, you guys, when we did Silver and 6 back in, I think 2017, I think it was, that seemed really daunting to me. Going from executive to silver in 6 months, and at the time not feeling like I had a super firm foundation in a lot of areas of my business, it was very daunting. But again, it was a similar thing. And we actually have a Silver and 6 call that we recorded, and it's on YouTube. So it'd be funny to like rewatch that.
Yeah, Mommy did that, right?
Yeah, she did that.
Because I know she was, it was daunting when she was going for it.
Right.
When she was primarily, but yeah. So,
but I say that because like we went for it, and during that time, I remember sharing the vision and the goal with the team, and having them be on board was what made that happen 100%. So that's like literally like the biggest thing.
So the replay of the same.
It's a replay of the same thing. And I think having a goal that is big enough to where it stretches you, like this one was a little bit like beyond what was comfortable for sure. But if it was less than that and it was too comfortable, then people wouldn't have really hustled to make it happen. It would have been like, oh, this is only like 500 away, like it'll just happen, like whatever. But if it's too big, then people think, oh, like that's like huge, like not possible. This is like the perfect balance between just a little bit stretching, but also like, okay, we got to step it up.
And also when you broke it down to like that 400 or so per person, then I think it made it more sort of relatable to each person, because maybe a person cannot relate to 3,500, but they can relate to 300 to 400, right? So.
And I will say that Young Living promo right at the end of the month really helped too. The 20% off Mother's Day sale and the Thieves stuff coming back in stock. It was a huge blessing. So, I mean, that was very, very good timing for that. Yeah.
Now, one thing I wanted to ask you is, when, like any other human being, we have doubts, we have fears, we have questions, regardless of where we are in the business or in life. So how have you found the mental sort of fortitude and focus and whatever to do this kind of thing and to weather the ups and downs and to know even how to lead a team or how to do all this kind of, how have you done that?
It's really through just like the personal development over the years. It's not something that you get overnight. And I mean,
what is personal development? How do you do that? What do you do?
Reading, or if
you mean like a novel or something?
No, reading my, personal development books. That like our book club books are really great that we recommend.
So it's not, okay.
Like reading leadership books, listening to podcasts too. I go through phases in podcasts, I feel like, but there's some really great leadership podcasts that you can listen to while you're working out.
TED Talks too. Some
TED Talks are they're good, but like not all of them are like leadership development.
Right,
but
right.
I would say that's been huge because you don't listen to those or read those things when you're feeling doubtful. You listen to them and read them when you're feeling great, and then it pulls you through the times you're feeling doubtful.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
And it's like it has to like be built up in you over time. It's not like you can just get like a jolt shot of it and suddenly you're like good to go for a long time. It has to be like everyday kind of like exposure. And if people think like I don't want anyone to think that I have it all together in that respect.
No one does.
Because I don't.
No one does.
And I also have had some really heavy times of like doubt. So, but it's because of the personal development that I've really been able to like push through those things. So I cannot like underestimate or what's the word I'm looking for?
You cannot
overemphasize the importance of it. And it's like whenever I've seen someone in the business that I've been working with either fizzle out or give up or stop sharing or get discouraged, like 100% of the time, it's because of a lack of personal development, like 100% of the time. Because the people that are developing themselves personally are the ones that are like sticking with it and really doing what it takes to move forward and step out of their comfort zone.
Right,
so.
Right. No, that's what all the RCDs and all will talk about too. Is like, and all the trainers they talk about. That's by the way. Speaking of personal development, leadership. There's this Young Living's Leadership Development Facebook page, and every morning they do a little talk. I catch them sometimes. Today I caught one, and I'm going to try and catch them more often because today's one really spoke to me just where I am at in my head. But they're really good, and so I would encourage you if you can. They're like at 11 Mountain or 10 Mountain or something. So 2 hours ahead for us. Whatever. Young Living Leadership Development. They're really good. They're really good talks. Yeah.
Can I say one more thing?
Of course, you can say yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to also share with you guys this path to silver, bridge to gold, wherever you're at in that. This is like such a good time to pour into it. And it's so doable for everyone because of this whole reset, which all of you guys are like, you've been around for a little bit. You're not brand new. So you already have like a foundation, so to speak, of some degree in your business. So the fact that they like reset it so that as if you had just achieved whatever rank your highest rank is in April, and now you have however many months it is for your specific level, like that's huge to take advantage of and reach it. Yeah. The bonuses are really, really generous. And more than just you taking advantage of it, reach out to your team members and like share with them like, hey, you're a star right now. If we help you go senior star by the end of June or, calculate how long they have to do it, you could get this additional bonus and like share that with them because people don't even know what they don't know. And when you share with them and like say like, I can help you do this, like let's do this together. And you reach those bonuses together and you encourage them and really believe in them. Like that's huge. So helping them grow and then you will by default grow. So take advantage of this time now to get them those bonuses so they get excited. But you have to reach out to them and connect with them.
Absolutely. And something that was coming to my mind as you were just talking too, this worked so well because of course you had built the relationships with your team, but then the team came together and were unified. So you guys were really tightly unified in pursuit of a common goal. And so you had each other's backs and you were all looking in the same direction. And it wasn't about, oh, this is going to just make Priya look good or anything. It's not about that. It's because guess what? As you all know, right? Yeah, Priya reached the rank, but that means everyone on her team rose, right? Because otherwise she wouldn't have risen. So everyone grew and everyone can continue to grow. So I think that's an important takeaway is to really think about sort of the mental model of how this kind of thing all works. And, anyway, I think that's all the questions I had. And in terms of time, maybe we want to open it up, unmute everyone, or that you can unmute yourselves. And just fire away, ask, comment, whatever. I mean,
do you want to share some of the team members that are on if they want to share?
Yeah, especially if some of Priya's team members, if you want, you don't have to, but if you want to share about, how it felt from your side when she approached you and the whole thing started, feel free. We'd love to hear that.
Well, for me, it really fired me up too, because I would pretty much do anything for Priya anyway, but I've just seen growth since she called me. I mean, it motivated me to just really kick it in. And so, and now with the promo, this doubling up promo that I wanted this Black Lantern diffuser. So it's like, it's just a big push. So, and then the biggest one is to be able to go silver by the end of July. So thank you, Priya, for trusting me to call me and ask for help, because it really, really shot me in the arm with some motivation and desire to just get back on a saddle, So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I wanted to share something, and again, I don't want to hog the time here, but I do want to say something that came to mind as you were talking about this when you said you'd do anything to help Priya. And there are others on this call. I don't want to embarrass them by naming names, but they were so sweet. They're not even in Priya's team, but they offered to purchase stuff through members of her team just to help her volume. Now that's love. Okay,
so sweet.
That is amazing. But it's interesting. I think something that I learned, Mummy and I had learned even in our past experience, is if you make your people fall in love with you as a leader, then they will go to the ends of the earth for you. And the way you make people fall in love with you is to serve them, which you were talking about earlier. What happened?
Leanne just popped on.
Oh, hey, Leanne. Welcome.
We're just doing our little Q&A.
Yeah, we're doing a Q&A. So we just talked, Leanne, we just talked about how Priya went through the process. We recorded this call, so you'll have access to it. But right now we're in an open forum. So if you've got any questions about how it all worked or any questions that you had about how she did it, please feel free to jump in. Because she was a part of the team. Yeah, of course. Leanne was a big part of it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so talking about that and serving your people and making them fall in love with you really also creates that pull. So that dynamic. Thank you, Surya. Anyone else have any questions? Anything or you want to share, or anything that you're doing in your group that is similar that you want to share or you're planning to do? Yes, Arlene.
I have a question. When you said that your targets, you had said about the groups that you were targeting, and I was putting the little pieces together. Obviously, you looked at the money missers. That was one of your targeted groups. Mm-hmm. The other group were the ones that were about to go inactive. Mm-hmm. Those were targeted groups. Is that correct?
Yes.
So by reaching out to them, however you did it, you said you did between 70 and 100 messages. I'm thinking those are messages that were beyond the 9 girls. Am I breaking up?
You are slowing down a little bit, but your voice kind of, but we got you. Yeah, we got you. So your question was, were those messages to beyond the 9 people who were directly involved, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I would like to, if you found a pattern of verbiage that worked with your money missers and you're about to go inactive, I'd love for you to share it with us at some point in time.
Yeah.
Because those are two very, very distinct groups.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a template.
So instead of reinventing the wheel, mhm.
Should we post that on LLT in the units or in the
Yeah, I think
materials?
I
on the-
actually have posted some degree of that, but yes, I can share that.
how,
for sure.
Yeah, okay. So how will you share it? You know?
On
Yeah,
like
sure, maybe on the business
On the
builders.
builders page?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
So
And if we forget, remind us. Wow.
but yeah, so we got about 13 minutes here left.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
I know Arlene, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Arlene, were you going to say something?
No, it's just everything's pixelating anyways.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, you go into slow motion sometimes.
I know that like some of the people here that reached out to others, that, you know, you had people that were on the fence, and reaching out to them with the promo just kind of was what like snapped it for them. Sharon, Stacy, you were like really fired up this whole time. So I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if there's anything you wanted to share,
Well, I guess she did put you on the spot.
I mean, I
Sharon.
did put you on the spot.
No, I was kind of like Sue when you said, you know, just doing it to help Priya. That's what really motivates me, is being able to help somebody else besides just me. I mean, I'm more someone that does stuff to help others first and kind of me second. And I have people that I've been talking to for a short period of time, and some I've been talking to for 3 years. And and people that have told me they want to re-enroll, but I just haven't been able to get them to. And I just started messaging all of them. And it's been a year since I signed anybody up, and I signed up 3 people.
Wow, isn't that awesome?
So
How did you feel about that?
I felt good. I mean, I was really happy that happened, to be able to help Priya. But I added another little thing to it, and I told them that if they signed up for Essential Rewards, they would get an additional $10 credit.
Wow.
So I added that on, just to try to make sure that they would sign up for ER. And I got 2 of them to do it, and that's what got them to do it. The other one, I couldn't get her to do
Wow.
it. Even though I told her, you know, if you decide, you know, I said next month, you know, you're going to have $35 and you can use that credit. And then if you don't want to do it after, we can just, you know, cancel it immediately.
Yeah.
But she had a ton of questions. And I think one time Priya had talked about looking at things like a Costco membership,
Yeah.
because I have they all had questions about membership.
Yeah.
And I kind of spoke that way.
Yeah.
And when I did, they were like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. That's
And
great.
that really helped them. But I've had a couple more people that have messaged me back since. I've been doing a couple Facebook posts, trying to do those more. And I've gotten a couple people making responses on there. So I've been
Awesome.
reaching out to them, and
That's awesome.
so we'll see. I'm gonna shoot for 4 this month. So
Wow.
we'll
That's awesome.
see.
That diffuser.
There you go.
Yes, I want that diffuser.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Well,
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone,
Anyone else? We
want to
have
share?
a few
We got
minutes.
10 minutes left.
Yeah, this is open forum.
At this point.
Do
And
we
if
have
you
a
came on late,
For book club?
Say again?
Do we have a new book for book club?
You know, for this month, actually, Priya and I haven't talked about it, but given the fact that the Breanne Brown book is quite dense and really requires some working through, and, you know, there's worksheets that go with it and all that, I think it's probably good if we perhaps stay with that and really read that more carefully. I know I'm behind on it too, but I think that's, so anyway, to answer your question, we haven't, by design, we didn't come up with the another book for this month. We figured we'd spend some time on this one because it's got a lot of depth and material in it. So did you let the new people in?
Yep. And for those of you that are just coming on, we have recording this. So the first like 40 minutes, 35 minutes is what like the bulk of this conversation.
When Priya talked about how she and her team went through this whole process. So
this is now just like Q&A. It's pretty chill. So we'll post
we'll be posting it in LLT, right?
Yeah, we'll post it. We'll upload it to YouTube and post it. So
yeah, cool. So
any other
I have another one. For the people in my group that did go out and order over 100 PV, you're not going to know that unless I get them to text you. Is that correct?
Yes, have them tell me. Like I've gotten a number of people. I may have already gotten them, but if they did, then they need to tell me.
Okay.
Sorry, were you done, Sue?
Yes.
Okay. So I was just thinking about this too. One of the things that's really struck me, and I'm sure you may have seen this too, is that what this has done is really raise the level of excitement and engagement across the team. And to me, that's the biggest benefit. Yeah, the Aroma Complete Kit is nice, and the money or whatever, the additional commission, all those things are nice. But really what it's done, and this is for everybody, everyone benefits when there's excitement across the team. And that's why I'm so glad we have so many people on this call who are from different legs, because excitement is contagious. And so I'm hoping that through this sort of thing, the excitement can spread across. I know Sherry's on here with some of her team and all that, and there's a lot going on there as well. So, Sam and Michelle, and, there's several people. I don't want to, I'll leave somebody out so I'm not going to go through names, but you know who you are. But there's a lot of excitement on the team. And I think to me, that's the biggest thing, because it creates momentum, and momentum is the most precious thing in this business. And once you lose momentum, it is really hard to get it back. It's really hard. And so
you want to carry it forward.
You want to keep the momentum going. Yes. It's a lot easier to keep it going than to restart. And so I'm just really proud of everyone here for stepping up, whether you're on Priya's team or not. You're on the bigger team anyway. And, just the loyalty we have on this team, and it's really something very special, and it's never taken for granted. So,
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Priya, a few weeks ago, you had posted something about how to go look at your organization and find out how close they are to reaching another PV level for the promo.
Yes.
Okay, and then there was something else on there too, to find out who's about to go inactive. There was a couple of things that you shared on that video. Could you reshare that, please?
Well, I don't remember off the top of my head everything about it, but I think what you're talking about is the looking ahead to essential rewards orders that have not yet processed in the month. So in this case, being that today is May 4th, you can do a filter in your virtual office of essential rewards orders processing day is greater than May 4th. And this is a great way just to increase OGV across the board. And then when you do that, you'll see everyone's orders who are the 4th and beyond. And you can put your mouse over the little box where their essential rewards order, like normally there's a little check mark, you just put your mouse over it and it'll show you the PV of what it's set to process at and in that state. So if you see, you could filter it, rewards orders processing like today through the 10th, and then reach out to those people. If they're close within the, I would say maybe 20 PV of the promo brackets, like 190 or 250 or 300, reach out to them. Just make sure that they know, like, hey, you're 20 PV away from getting a free bottle of Endoflex this month. And then oftentimes people don't order more, or they don't order because they don't know what to order. So if you send them like an idea of like, hey, like now's a good time to order some sunscreen or bug repellent for the upcoming summer months, and make a little suggestion or something. Maybe it's a new product that you've tried that you really like. Like, I recently just tried this oil or this product and it's great. You might really like it. Making that suggestion really helps them, because then they're like, oh, okay, like maybe I'll go try that.
Right.
But if you just say, oh, you're 20 PV away, just FYI, they'll be like, okay, that's nice. Like, then they might just kind of,
Okay.
they're not as likely to add it. I mean, maybe they would, but.
So you're saying to the extent that you can be prescriptive, it's helpful.
Well, yeah, and like give suggestions, because people
Yeah, same thing.
most people on the team, you guys, they're not as familiar with the products as most of us are.
Right.
So you can't think that, oh, they know like what products they need to order. They know, like they probably don't know as many of them as we do. So
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
So don't assume that people know what to order, or know that Young Living even has mascara or even has makeup or CBD or any of that, unless you suggest it or bring it up, or, you know.
Okay.
Right.
So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Awesome. Well,
All right.
we are. Did somebody have something to say? Somebody?
Any other thing?
Okay, we are three. Sorry.
I think that's Sam.
Who's
or
speaking?
Michelle.
Somebody speaking?
Yeah, it's me, Sam.
Oh, yes, Sam. Hey, go ahead.
How you doing? I just want to say, Priya, you've been a big inspiration for what you did. So I want to say thank you. And Sherry, thanks for helping me out. This is our second month that we went 4,000 PV.
You guys are just killing it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to say thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Peter. Because Peter told me about what you were doing, and I was like, maybe, Sherry, I think I was like maybe 1,000 points away from 4,000. And so what we did, Michelle and I did, was a little bit different, but we used our stimulus check to give everybody who are mothers in our group a gift.
Wow.
And so when they got that, they bought some more, so we go today, so they went to 100 PV.
Wow.
We gave them like a 50, maybe a 25 or 30 or $50 order somewhere, and I talked to them and see what they needed. And it was like oregano or thyme, whatever, to help them going through what they're going through. Everybody's going through situations.
Yeah.
There's some to check to help them out. And all of a sudden, they bought some stuff to make sure they went 100 PV. So we were like, oh, sweet. So.
Well, that's cool, Sam. And I know you've been working very closely with Sherry, and she's been guiding you. So, Sherry, that's awesome. I know you've been a great guide to Sam and Michelle with all your knowledge and experience. So that's fantastic. And the results are showing. And Sam, it's really impressive that what you did is you took your stimulus check and you invested it in your business.
It's very impressive.
And that is very impressive. Seriously. Yeah. I commend you for that. You know, and that's the mindset of somebody who succeeds in, frankly, any business. But, you know, to reinvest back in your business. Yeah. You know, it's interesting.
We had, overall in 2 months, we have over 10 people went star.
Yeah.
In 2 months.
I know you had a lot. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so impressed. And I know everyone in this call is doing all kinds of things, you know, so I mean, there's a lot of great activity going on, but you know, it's interesting. I just want to say this, and it's from my corporate existence, right? Where I spend my daytime hours. So I work for a company called Koch, K-O-C-H. You may have heard of them, Koch brothers, right? The infamous, depending on your point of view, some people hate the Koch brothers, some people love them, whatever. Not going to get into politics, but they're a $100 billion privately held company, okay? Owned by one family. That's impressive, and they're a huge empire. But what's very interesting about Koch is their mindset. And I forget whether the exact number is 80 or 90, but you know they invest some insanely high amount of their profits back in their business. It's crazy. When I first saw that number, I was like, that's not possible. They invest that much back in their business. And that's in the corporate world. So companies, individual businesses like ours, whoever, to grow, we have to invest. And so Sam, I'm just calling that out. I'm just building on what you just said, because that is so key. It's so key. So awesome. Well,
all right, guys.
we are at
Right.
time.
I just want to say something.
Yes, ma'am.
Besides, it's all been very exciting for all of us watching all this happen. Off that subject, I don't know if everybody's aware, if they're not, but YL Go it ceased. There's no more YL Go. Did we put that on the page?
Well, there wasn't clear information about it, so we didn't want to like share it if it wasn't super clear. We knew that it was phasing out.
Is it
but-
officially done now? I haven't seen.
Well, yeah.
I was told May 1. So anybody who didn't process by May 1,
You
I
lose all your
called
pay?
on it. They're going to credit it back. I don't know how they're going to calculate it, but they're going to formulate whatever is left and they're going to put a credit on your account.
Okay.
So then it goes back to the old fashioned options. But I asked, is there any conversation about introducing another program? And they're not committing, but they did say in a couple of months, there'll probably be some conversation about something else rolling out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
they did say that they were going to replace it with something better.
I'm sure they will.
So,
Yeah, because it's a great program.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
a
sure
great-
they
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
some kinks or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just so you know, because a lot of times we still have our stuff that says why I'll go, and I just finally one girl was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I called and I said, "Why can't I find this?" They said, "Well, because it's not there anymore."
Yeah. Good.
So
Yeah.
just a little tidbit.
Yeah. Thank you, Arlene. That's a good point. Maybe we should post something about that when we find out for sure.
Yeah, we just want to be clear because people.
Yeah, we want to make sure we have the information correct and we'll post on it. Yeah, post about it.
Yeah, you can just probably call Young Living and so you're confident, but I just think a lot of people are going to be confused when they go to process their orders and they have to pay shipping.
Or Arlene, tomorrow is your day. You could post it tomorrow.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, no, seriously, you could. Since
Right.
you probably know more about it than us. So yeah,
Yeah, I will. All right, I'll get some more information, Peter.
there you go. There's your homework.
Okay,
All right.
You like how I smoothly did that, Arlene?
I do.
All right, guys. Bye. Thank you all.
Hope you all have a good night.
Have a good night. Thanks for
and
joining.
we'll
Bye.
talk to
Bye,
y'all
guys.
soon.
See you.
Congratulations,
Bye.
Priya.
Thanks.
Congratulations to everyone.
Congratulations again. Bye-bye.